I think there are two things that are important. First, a pure open source model doesn't work. And so sometimes I run into people and they say, well, the vendors should just be pure open source. And the simple fact is that it's too easy for them to be taken advantage of, and therefore there's no real incentive for them to do that, and therefore the innovation goes away, right? The second thing is that there has to be a kind of a bargain, right? Some sort of hard bargain between the people who use open source and the people who lead open source. I really believe in the value of maintainership and ownership, right? Like I like the idea that there's a company behind an open source project, because then you know that there's leadership of that, right? I don't like the idea when it's sort of like a nebulous community, because it doesn't work that way, right? Community's here today, gone tomorrow, people change their mind, they graduate from school, they do all sorts of things, right? I like to know that there's a company that cares about a piece of open source, and I'd like to understand how they're going to be successful, right? I think that's really, really important. There needs to be some bargain between that company and between the users of what they make. Now, Richard Stallman was very, very clever. He did a very good thing, right? He said, okay, if I make some open source, you get to use it, but the hard bargain is if you become a vendor build on it, then you must contribute back. That was the copyleft bargain, right? It was a very hard bargain, right? A tough, firm, clear bargain, right? Then we kind of went into a funny world of the Apache licensing world, where people thought that they could get money from investors to make something that there was no hard bargain, and then somehow magically it would work out. That didn't work so well, right? And now we're into the age of the cloud era, where again, people are trying to find the balance. They're trying to find the bargain. I'm not trying to say I know what the answer is. I've been rambling now for about 5 minutes. But I do believe in these two clear ideas. First, there should be a tight organization behind a piece of open source typically, right? And you should know who that is, and you should figure out how to feed them. They need to be fed, right? It's not me, it's them that needs to be fed, right? It's Docker, or it's Mongo, or it's the people behind a piece of software. I like to know who they are, and I like to know that they're going to get fed. And then there needs to be some kind of fair bargain when other people are using that stuff that drives that stuff to get better. Either it's money flowing or it's code flowing, right? Those things I think are true. In a cloud world, I don't know what that bargain looks like. I don't know what those licenses look like. We'll figure it out, right?
So are you worried about it, that open source may lose again, or you are fully confident that we will figure something out?
I'm fully confident we'll figure something out. I think there'll be a bunch of name calling, and people will make mistakes, and all of those sorts of things. But at the end of the day, if you're just looking at, for example, the relationship between the cloud companies and the MongoDBs, they need each other, right? They really need each other, right? And so in the end, there'll be an incentive for them to figure it out.
Once again, Mark, thanks for talking.